Hello guys, and welcome to a new Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you the second of 6 Battlegroup previews of the new divisions in the latest DLC, The Fate of Finland. And today we're looking at the first of a couple of Finnish divisions that are added in this DLC, which is really cool. Now this particular Battlegroup that I have in front of you is very much a work in progress, so bear that in mind, but I currently have it set up for Maverick deployment type. And I do believe that the Panssaridivisioona will be suited to an early game playstyle. So that's what I'm kind of focusing on here. But just as a side note, please bear with me and my pronunciation. I am working on it with the Finnish units. I will get there as I did with the Hungarian units eventually, but we'll see how it goes today. Alright, jumping into the Recon tab. You got the T-38s to start. These are cool little machine gun tanks. They have armor decent for engaging between the 500 and 750 meter range, where you can't be killed by machine guns, but you can engage with your own, and you're not in range of AT rifles. Now, AT rifles will be the bane of this thing's existence, but you can probably still use them at close range quite often due to the meta revolving around a lot of disheartened units, especially like the Chernos on the Soviet side. That's something to mention. The Finns are on the Axis side. Then we have the BAFC, which has the 45mm guns, of course. It's basically just a BA-10M. We've seen them before. In Phase C, I've got a card of the Taka and Puya. These guys are 2-man sniper squads. Both of them have snipers, which is going to make them very, very efficient at killing support weapons like AT rifles, or AT guns, sorry, and infantry guns. So that's what you'll probably use these for. You'll have them in combat quite often. Then further down we have the WLAKK motorcycle, the T-26 Recon tank. These are new, but they're actually quite expensive for what they offer, especially compared to the T-26s that you can get in the tank tab. You're basically paying the extra 10 points for the high optics, which could be useful in sort of light forest engagements, but otherwise is pretty negligible. Then you have the standard 4-man squads with the machine gun, light machine gun. So this is similar to Speertrub. These are the Tied Delu, something like that. And they have 3 smoke grenades as well, which is kind of cool. Allows them to keep themselves alive, a bit more survivability. But these would be like your standard recon infantry that hides, and you don't really engage with them too often unless you have to. Because you don't have much in the way of infantry recon in this division. Moving on to the infantry tab, we have the Yakari, and these guys, they have 3 submachine guns, but one thing to note about the Finnish submachine guns is they do have 150 meter range with 65% accuracy, which is actually pretty scary. So at close range, those submachine guns will do a hell of a lot of damage, and the one thing to note is you'll be able to engage with your submachine guns before the enemy can, because most submachine guns across the board have 100 meter range. So these have a little bit extra range, and that will sort of dictate how well they do in a medium to close range engagement. So when a squad is trying to charge you down, you'll be able to engage with submachine guns before they can, giving you a little bit of a jump on the enemy. And when they do get into the 100 meter range, you've even got a Molotov to throw in their face. So these are going to be actually really good sort of medium range to close range engagement tools. Most likely you'll see them used for the 100 meter range engagement in heavy cover, so that they get the most out of the Molotov engagement. But they also come with a Panzerfaust, can be used to pick off enemy armor nearby. Nice versatile squad for the sort of mainline units of the Finnish. Then there's the Kaveri. These guys have 2 submachine guns, 6 rifles, and a machine gun. Very similar to like Gavardia squads, for example, where they have like a close range AT grenade and sort of standard equipment. So very much like the line infantry of the Finnish divisions. And then there's the Lähdetö Junta. These guys have 2 submachine guns, 4 rifles. They've got an AT rifle and HE shells. So again, another versatile squad, and that is probably the main word that I'd use to describe most of the Finnish infantry. Just versatile. The AT rifle is going to be useful for cutting down light armor, especially like the new light armored T-26s, for example, on the Soviet side. They do have those, so that's where these AT rifles will come in handy. Great for breaking down half tracks, which is quite common as well, especially like the 50 cal half tracks that the Soviet get, the Lend-Lease ones. The HE at close range is going to make them dominant in the close range engagements as well, especially against smaller squads of like 5 and 6 men. They can probably just one-shot them. So that's going to be interesting to watch out for, to see how well these perform. Then there I have a leader squad, the Cavalry leader. These guys are 4-man squad with the Panzerfaust, nothing terribly special there, 30 points apiece with reasonable availability, nothing too special. The other squads you can get leader-wise are the Yakari ones, which come with 9 men, but the availability is lower in Phase A, which is why I'm not bringing them in this case. Then there's the Nostaveki. These are disheartened troops, 15 points apiece, really strong unit. They are great value for money, similar to Chernos, except from they have Molotovs. So 8-man squad with Molotovs, decent mid-range engagement tools, can really overwhelm positions of enemy infantry. And since you'd have a lot of these on the field all at once, especially in Phase B, I think they're going to be like super strong. And along with my Maverick deployment type in this case, I thought that that would work out really well. And I tried it out in a game and it did seem to do relatively well. Then we have the Yukari in Phase C as well, and you can have like a total of I think 6 cards of Yukari. You could just fill your whole infantry tab with Yukari. You do actually have 7 slots in total, so maybe not quite, but either way, a lot of Yukari available. Then you have the Sioxi Pioneeri. These are these are double flamer squads, 5 strength. 5 strength I feel maybe a little bit low compared to other sort of flamer squads. So I'm not entirely sure how well these will do, but I guess I'll try them out at some point and we'll see how they get on, and we might see them in like competitive play or something at some point. And I already mentioned the new leader squad there. Right, over to the tank tab. Loads to look at here, absolutely tons. So we got the new T-26s. You got 2 variants of them. You got the T-26B and you got the T-26E. And the T-26E is slower, but it has more armor. And I think that's basically the main difference, actually, between the two. The T-26E there can be brought in at lower veterancy, which is okay, but you do get lower availability across the board. So the T-26Bs are preferable in this case because you can bring them in at 1-star veterancy and you get 9 of them, whereas you can get 8 of these at no veterancy with the T-26Es. So yeah, T-26Bs anyway, nice 15-point vehicles, really strong for helping you push early game. And I think these are going to be well used across the board on both the Soviet and Finnish side of things. Then we see the T-28E. Look at this bad boy. You've got to love a good T-28. It comes with the 3 machine guns. All of these machine guns work. So that's really cool. It's all modeled in there. And you have the AP shells as well as the HE shells. Obviously, this tank gun is pretty big. So it does have the 1.5 damage there, which is really, really nice. And that's going to make this an absolute monster against infantry and support weapons. So that's what I reckon we'll see this used for. You can only bring them in Phase A, and that goes the same for a lot of these units, actually, a lot of these tanks. But a nice unit for support. So you've got the T-34 1942s, I think these are. Yeah, with the 90mm of frontal armor. And your standard AP-HE shell loadout with the machine guns. Always going to be good value at 50 points, so same as we've seen before, but nice little camo there as well. Then we have Stug 3Gs available as well. These ones have the logs on the side, and they're called Sturmies, which is just the most fantastic name. It's going to be great when I'm casting stuff, when they get to call these Sturmies. Either way, AP shells, HE shells, same old stuff as the normal Stug. Great sort of value unit for cracking down on T-34s, and also the Shermans, the Sherman tanks. Yeah, can get the leader variant of these. It has a slightly different paint job as well, which is very cool. And then you have the captured T-34 85 1944s. So these are the 1944 variants, which means they have APCR shells. They've got the machine gun there as well. And they also have the extra accuracy on their guns. So they get that 45% accuracy, 55% accuracy on the APCR shell. That's really, really nice. These are going to be super strong in the early game. I don't think there are many divisions that can bring in T-34 85 1944s in Phase A. So this will give the Panssaridivisioona a bit of a bite for sure. Moving into Phase B, we have the Nelonen, which are just Panzer IVs. I think they're Panzer IV Js apparently. When I was streaming lately, I think we figured out they're Panzer IV Js. They are reasonably good. 45 points apiece is okay value for them actually. 2 machine guns HE, good for killing off infantry. And these will do well at range because like the 40% accuracy plus a bit of veterancy makes these actually really good value for trading at range. And also in Phase B we have the Stürmi as well, like another card of these. You can get 2 cards in total. I'm actually up-betting these to 1-star veterancy. You only lose 2 of them, so I thought it would be better to have 3-star Stürmis as opposed to 2-star if you had like a commander leader network set up. Next up we have the T26C leader variant, which again has a different paint job, looks really cool. And finally, the only other tank I haven't mentioned yet is the Klimi, or which is KV-1S. Comes with the same stats. A decent tank for sure. And I'm kind of tempted to try and fit these in, but the low amount of availability does put me off doing so. Moving on to the support tab. The support tab's not actually crazy. There's not too much to look at here, but a couple of new units. We got, of course, the Ford AA supply trucks, which I guess is technically a new vehicle, so there you go. We've got the Yakari Commander, which is a 7-man commander in Phase A, which is actually really nice. Then we have the ISU 152. You can get a card of these, but they are only available in Phase A with no veterancy. But this is going to be really strong for like early game support playstyle, and I've made great use of this so far, and so it's nice to actually have them available. Another interesting support gun though is the BT-72. This thing is actually pretty good apparently. So you can get 4 in Phase A, 8 in Phase B, or 12 in Phase C, but these things have a 114mm gun which can fire HE shells, and this isn't a flamethrower, it's in fact napalm rounds. So it can fire napalm rounds at 2,000 meter range. Now this thing actually can kill infantry very, very quickly, and apparently at the moment it can even kill heavy tanks. So this is going to be a pretty scary beast when the DLC comes out. I reckon we'll see a change to the flames and how they work against armor, but ultimately really good thing for shooting at range versus infantry, and you may as well keep it at max range if you can, because there's no reason to be any closer. You don't have a machine gun that's going to really help with that. So yeah, long range support weapon. 20% accuracy is a little bit iffy, but because it's using large HE shells, accuracy is not top priority. Just need to kind of hit near enough that you do damage and pin down the unit. It's got reasonable armor, but it's generally quite low actually for like a support gun like this. If you think of something like a Brumbier or like a Sturmtiger, they have like crazy front armor and then a big HE gun, or it just has a big HE gun but like no armor. So like a 45mm HE gun at max range might snipe this, and that's going to make them relatively weak in that regard. Reasonable speed though, which is interesting. Anyway, moving on from that, we have the 2-inch mortars available. There's also the Maxim squads available, and then you've got a couple of commanders. So the Vidal Tempo again, we see that in this tab as well. And even more interesting than that, you do actually have access to a T50, which is cool. These aren't very common in the game at all. I think there's like maybe 1 division that has access to T50s as a commander. Unfortunately, it's Phase C, so you're probably never going to see these used. But yeah, nice fast tank, the T50, and you can see that with a 60 km/h on-road speed. Just a shame that we're not really going to see them in combat that often. Anyway, moving on to the anti-tank tab. The Finnish absolute chads with their AT rifles, holding them shoulder height and firing them like so. But either way, they do have the 2 AT rifles in these squads and 2 submachine guns with smoke grenades as well. So these are going to be really annoying squads for your opponents, especially when you're trying to deal with light armor. And yeah, these will deal with them very quickly indeed. Really, really nice with a 40 round per minute rate of fire between those 2 AT rifles. The thing is as well, with the extra veterancy, that rate of fire goes up massively. So it's already at 40, and you can see with 2-star veterancy it goes up. So if you had like a commander near these, since they already come in at 1-star veterancy, you could probably push that beyond 60 round per minute rate of fire, which is pretty nuts. Anyway, 45mm AT gun captured Russian guns. We got the Tankin Torjunta. These guys are a 10-man squad with a Panzerschreck. Very cool. They've got exceptional stealth still. So I reckon we're going to see quite a lot of these. Very reliable Panzerschreck squad, just because it's not going to get itself killed as soon as it fires its first shot. So you can probably get a lot of value out of these. Since if you kill like a T-34, you've already paid yourself off. If you kill 2, then you've doubled your money. Like it's going to be a good value squad for sure. Let me see, I've got a card of Pack 40s. Capture Pack 40s these are, and that's pretty much it. You just also have access to the Pack 38 as well, if you'd prefer to use that. Jumping into the anti-air tab, we do have one unique unit here that we haven't seen before. The Landswerk Anti-2, which is basically the same as the Nimrods, according to you guys on the stream. This was the predecessor to the Nimrod that the Hungarians have. So, yeah, an interesting AA vehicle. Does have certainly a lot of power in its 40mm AA gun, and can be used to clean up light vehicles with the AP shells. It does have 75mm of penetration, so T-26s will get eaten up by this for days. You will have to be careful not to have this get shot at, though, by anything AT anyway. So, facing off against armor, yes, you have a lot of firepower, but you are very weak yourself when it comes down to using these. So 20mm of front armor is going to get you killed by a T-26, which could be quite an expensive trade if you think a T-26 costs 15 points and the Landswerk Anti-2 costs 100 points. So yeah, be careful with these. I would focus on using them for AA. You do also get access to the Bofors in this anti-air tab. These are really strong anti-air, so make good use of them. 40mm AA once again. Then there's also the Ford truck with a Maxim 4M on the back, and we see the 20mm as well that can be brought in with the Ford AA. Nothing else really too special they can be brought in. A couple transports here that we don't see too often. The Komsomolets and also the Alatil. This is a funny looking transport, that's for sure. Right, let's move on to the anti-air, or the artillery, sorry, tab. And the artillery tab does have a lot of 150mm SFHs available. These are SFH 18s. If you brought all of these cards in Phase C, you could have a total of 12 of these, which is actually quite a lot. And you could do some serious damage in the late game if you were to build more of a balanced division. But you are definitely going to have to sort of switch to like an RT infantry playstyle, which might not be too great because the infantry availability in this division is not terribly high. Anyway, there's the two-man artillery observers. These are called the Tulan Yotaya, something like that. I'm trying to pronounce them because I think that my Finnish audience does enjoy me having a go. Eventually I'll work out how to say them. We also have the Battlegroup. I don't know if that stands for Comroti, but either way, these guys have 2 submachine guns and 8 rifles. 30-point leader squad in the artillery tab might be a good shout instead of maybe one of these SFH 150mm. You do get access to some 81mm mortars, and there's also a card of off-map in the plane here. This is a Storch, I guess, and it does have 210mm off-map, which is pretty good, but the biggest trouble with this particular off-map is you can't bring it in Phase A for starters, and since it's an aircraft, bring it in later is always a risk. And the availability is very low, so you can only get one of them in Phase B and two of them in Phase C. So that's a problem for the artillery. Moving into the air tab, there's some interesting stuff here. We have the Gladiator Mark II, which comes with the 4 30 cals, which is very cool. And then you have the Brewster, which is another new aircraft. The 4 50 cals. You'd think would make this pretty good at strafing, but it's not terribly good from experience, but can definitely be a pain in a dogfight for sure with the excellent agility. Since it comes in at 2-star veterancy at 65 points, it makes this quite cost effective, honestly, in a dogfight. The Gladiators, they're more just standard recon. But their optics are only good at the moment, which is, I don't know if it's had a little bit of an oversight, but either way, these aren't that great for recon unless you have them strafe. So you want to have them as close to the ground as possible when you're using them for recon, which means you've got to like strafe the ground to actually get the recon capability from them. There is the Blenheims as well. These come with the 4 100-kilogram bomb payload, and they're okay. Not the fastest bombers in the world. 390 km/h speed though is still pretty fast. And 85 points apiece with 4 availability in Phase A. It's pretty nice. In Phase C, you can get 8 of them. So you can actually bring in a lot of these. Then I have a card of the Ju-87D5s cluster bombers that we've seen before. There is the G50 BIS, which is, I think this is like an Italian plane, isn't it? Either way, 2 machine guns in the nose, and I don't think it's going to be that good. I mean, they're technically 250 cals, so maybe it'll do a little bit of damage, but this will be just recon at the end of the day with the optics there. The optics aren't as good as some other recon planes, though. We see the Ju-87D5s. These come with a payload of 1 500-kilogram bomb and 4 50-kilogram bombs. Same old stuff as usual, though. Then we have the DO. This comes with 1 500-kilogram bomb in this variant. You can also get the 100-point variant, the Z2, which comes with 50-kilogram bombs. You get 20 of those in the 100-point variant. So this is more of like a carpet bomber for pinning down an area, whereas the 1 500-kilogram bomb, or just for annihilating like a single AT gun or pinning down a group of infantry, something like that. There is an ace, the ME-109G2, Ilu. This guy is okay. 620 km/h speed on the ME-109G2 is nice, but the issue with the G2 is it doesn't have the 20mm gun pods, which makes it lack firepower for taking down like bombers and stuff like that. It's decent as a fighter, like sort of dogfighting aircraft, but yeah, I've really gone off using these because they're quite brittle. There is the ME-109G6 BR-21 that comes with the 2 210mm rockets. Pretty cool aircraft for sure. I like the paint job, and those rockets can be effective for taking out support weapons, but that's about it. So yeah, very cool. That's all of the units for the Panssaridivisioona, and yeah, lots of new stuff to look at. You got the T-26Bs, T-28Es, the Landsvirk TAA. You got the new aircraft, the Gladiator Brewster Blenheims. There's the BT-42, and I love the new look of the Xiaomi. I really like this. It looks awesome. So yeah, lots of eye candy in the Finnish division and a lot of power too. I think this is going to be a very formidable Phase A and Phase B division. But that's it for the Panssaridivisioona. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this Battlegroup preview. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.